Hello, this is Noreen from Joya Cards, and today we're going to make this really pretty Peace on Earth card using a few things, and let's take a look. So the first thing we're going to look at is the So Many Stars stamp. We're going to use elements from here. We're going to use the Shine Bright. We're going to use this Peace on Earth. We're going to use the So Many Stars dies, and we're going to be using these two stars here, this star and this star, so all the little stars. And then we're also going to be using the layered squares with these two stars, and I'll tell you which ones when we get there. So let's start. So the first thing we need is our base. So this is just the regular 5.5 by 4 1/4 Night of Navy scored and folded. That's pretty simple. And then we want to cut a piece of the copper foil, and this is 5 1/4 by 4, and this one is brightly gleaming, and this one is 3.75 by 5, and look at that pretty back. So let's go ahead and fix this on the card here. Now when you are snailing this copper foil, you have to really push down on the snail because there is a plastic backing to the foil and it doesn't like tape. So anyway, go ahead and put that in the middle. And the reason why we chose the copper foil is because of the copper in this particular card. So let's snail this one and just put that right there in the middle-ish. There you go. And then the next thing is we are going to use those layering squares. Now for the layering squares, you're going to take the third largest square and you're going to cut it in the copper, and the fourth largest square and you're going to use the shimmery white. So we've got shimmery white, we've got copper, and we've got this brightly gleaming, and that's basically all the papers we're going to be using. So I went ahead and pre-cut these. So you got copper and white and these two squares. And then we need to put our sentiment on. So I'm going to use the Stamparatus because when you are using a stamp that's, pretty substantial like this one is, you want to make sure you have the ability to stamp it twice. So I'm going to go ahead and, in fact, I might even put a little snail on there because it's a little small. But I'm going to line this up on my Stamparatus and just kind of check it. In fact, why don't I, because I've already made a few cards here, why not I go ahead and clean this stamp. And I'm going to use my chamois here. And these things are great because even though it looks like horrible, these things clean like you wouldn't believe. So in a pinch, you can just grab your little chamois and clean it off there. That's a Stampin' Up product. And go ahead and line up your stamp on your Stamparatus. Now I've used this stamp enough to know that the P and the E you have to come over a little bit for, so I know to put it more to the right, my right. And then we're going to be using Night of Navy. And this is one of the most popular colors. I tell you, I have used so much Night of Navy. Maybe it's because there's lots of stars and lots of snow this year, but I use it all the time. So we're going to stamp that once, and we're going to stamp that again and move my magnet a little bit too. It's cutting off the top of my P. And what the heck, one more time. Okay. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and take this off and turn it around because we're going to use the thing on the back soon. Take this off, close this up, put it to the side, and then always take your ink every time you use it and close it because it's just waiting for something to get put on it. And then I'm going to go ahead and snail this on to my card. Now I'm taking, I'm using my silicone sheet to glue or a snail anything because it's better to do that and keep it off my work surface than to get it all gross. All right, so there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this onto my card with dimensionals. Now this one, I did this kind of two ways. You just saw me layer the squares, And then I also took that first square, the large one, and the copper, and I cut it out. And then I used a smaller one and I cut onto the copper, and then I kind of glued them together with snail. So we could either use this one or this one. So let's try the different one, the different approach, and put that one on dimensionals. And go ahead and use the big dimensionals. Oh, there's my star. The big dimensionals. And I'm going to put on 5, so 1 on each corner. And since it's kind of stuck together, kind of inlaid into the square, I'm going to get right over where I put it on the square. And then take these off. I bet you by the time I'm dead, I will have spent a year of my life just taking off the backs of dimensionals. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and put this right in the middle, like where the other one is. I kind of like it this way, other than this way. I don't know, whichever one. I mean, this one was, you know, another step. This was definitely a lot easier, but I think this one that's inlaid is kind of better. So that's that one. And then next we're going to cut out our star. We're going to use the 4th largest star, which is this one right here. And we're going to cut out the star for the front. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm losing stars everywhere. And we went ahead, woo, magic of doing video. I went ahead and already done that. And then we're going to stamp using the 3rd largest stamped star from So Many Stars. So this one is this one right here. So that's already on my Stamparatus right now because I turned the thing over. Let's move my silicone sheet out of the way. And let's take a piece of just scratch paper. So I'm just going to take a piece of scratch. And we're going to, and I don't know if you can tell, but this is actually Versamarked. And I Versamarked, and then I also stamped it in the blue. And how you do that is, and I like to use my little tray. I know people like the little Tupperwares, but I don't know. I kind of like my tray better. So first of all, you're going to powder it up with your embossing buddy. If you don't do the embossing buddy, it's just not going to look right, because if your powder sticks to other places, it's going to look like, you know, it's going to look pretty bad. So I've got this not lined up very well. And boop. Okay. So I'm going to take my Versamark, and I'm going to Versamark the star. You only have to do it like once. And you can kind of see it, especially since I just stamped in blue. And then I'm going to take my Night of Navy again and tap, 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 tap. And that, and I'm going to give it another coat of blue. All right. And then what do? We close our box, because that's just an accident waiting to happen. Make sure the Versamark is closed. Take this off, and we're going to, in fact, I'm going to get this out of the way here. We're going to get our little tray here and our clear stamping embossing powder. The clear one, not the white one, the clear one. And I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle it on the star. Tap it. Give it another shot. Tap it. And then put this to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and get my heating tool. And while this is kind of warming up, because you want your heating tool to warm up, I'm going to take your pick tool and hold it down. And this thing is awesome because it's got a pick for, you know, taking all the little things out of your stars, and also the scrubby thing. But this comes off, and it also has a little piece where you can pick up sequins and stuff. So this is all warmed up by now. So I'm going to go ahead and emboss it. Another thing about the blue is you can really tell when it's done. There's like no doubt. So that's done with that. And then kind of the tedious part is I'm going to fussy cut it. And it's not that hard. So you just, you know, fussy cut it out. They're all like straight cuts. So I went ahead and did that in advance. You don't want to see me cutting for 10 minutes. Anyway, and then I'm going to take my star and I'm going to do something different with my dimensionals. I'm going to double them. So I'm going to put one here and take off the little tab. Make sure that it's not sticking out on the side like I just did. Put that in. And then I'm going to take another one and put it on top, because this is already dimensional, so it's up a little higher. So I want to give it a little height. And then I'm going to put one here. Take this off. I'm going to put another one. So I'm going to put 2 layers of dimensionals. And then I'm going to place that doodad there. And then I'm going to snail my star. In fact, I should have done this before I did all that, but that's okay. And I'm going to put the snail star right there in the middle. And then I'm going to grab the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and I'm going to grab a small one. And when you grab these things, put your fingernail all the way under so you grab that little glue dot underneath and put that right there. And then I also have pre-cut out from the tiniest die the little star here. You could tell I was inking all day. So I went ahead and cut that one out. It's the tiniest. This is the reason why you keep scrap, because, you know, this is like nothing. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to use my fine tip glue. This stuff is awesome. I haven't had it clog yet. It doesn't have any pieces that fall off like that other brand that really stinks. Anyway, so I fine tip glued that. And I'm going to put this little star just, you know, right up here. And let go. And then I take another one of these small jewels and put that there. Move that over just a little bit. And then I'm going to put my lid on my glue. So this is great because it has a little needle here. And you just kind of stick it in there and then screws down. I think this is why it doesn't clog. So that's the front of the card. So that's pretty nice. Now we're going to do the inside of the card. And that is going to be, get all my stuff here. We're going to get the copper, which is 4 1/8. And the reason why we're making this a little different from the other one is because this star is pretty big. So this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And once again, when you snail this copper, you got to push really hard, otherwise that tape isn't going to go down because of that plastic backing on the foil. And when you cut out your stars, like the ones that have the little cuts here, if you can grab, while you're cutting it, you've already cut it out, if you can grab that little clear piece of plastic that's on the back and rip that off, then all those little things will pop right out. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up in the middle. And then here's this Brightly Gleaming again. And this one is cut 4 by 5 1/4. So we'll snail this one up. And also put this right here in the middle, like so. And then we're going to take our largest star, so this one, and cut that out. And we're going to stamp the sentiment on here. And this, bring out our Stamparatus again, remove the plate. And I could have put it up here, but I'm doing a video, so it's like, it's just in the way. So I'm going to take this off because I was just using it. Get out my chamois again and just wipe it off because I don't want to, I want to reposition this. And ta-da, that's all it is. So I'm going to take this star and I'm going to line it up. And what's nice with these grids, now I have on my Stamparatus, I don't know if you've noticed them in the catalog, but this is how it comes. I use this mat and I use this on top. And I know a lot of people don't do that, but I do it and it's great. And I have this here, and believe it or not, all this wipes off. I've just been, you know, doing a lot of Stampin' today. So, but that's how I do it. And they say that the pad is for the stamps that don't have the cushion, like this is just the clear one. But if it was the orange one to take this out, I use it on all of them. I think it works great. So I just use it like this. So I'm going to put the magnets up there, and I'm going to line up my sentiment. And this is from the stars one as well. And there it goes. And then you close this up. And this isn't Versamarked or anything. This is just in your Night of Navy. So just go ahead and get out your Night of Navy and go tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Try not to mush it too much. And put it on there like that. Let's do it again. Tap, 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 tap. And put it on there again. That looks great. And take this off. Move this to the side. And what do? We close our ink. So take that ink pad and close it. Is a really good habit to go ahead and do that. So let's bring our card back here in the example. So we're going to take this and we're going to snail it. I love this silicone sheet because I can go off and boom, it's great and keeps my workspace clean. It's the best thing in the world. In fact, I started using this before I was doing cards. It's great. I was using it for my scrapbooking. So, and this lovely piece of card has lines, which is cool. So I'm lining it up on the lines like that. And then the last little die cut that I did, was this one right here. So I went ahead and I die cutted that. Ooh, look, there's a little piece of that plastic I was talking about. If you can get that off, look, poof. Anyway, so we're going to take that. We already die cutted it, obviously. I'll move that to the side. And we're going to fine tip glue it. And the reason why I'm not snailing it is because the snail would poke through these holes, and then when you closed your card, it'll stick. So don't do that. So if it's something that like this, glue it. And this fine tip glue is great because it's so fine tipped you can do something really intricate like this without a problem. And then grab your tweezers and put it on like so. And I kind of put it on at an angle, kind of fit better that way, like so. And then once again, these holiday rhinestone basics, these are awesome. You just have to, like I said, get your fingernail under that glue dot and stick it on. And that's it. Ta-da! We're done. So that is the So Many Stars Peace on Earth Christmas card. Please, if you could do me a favor, if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome. And my Stampin' Up! Address is right here. If you want to order anything, if you go to that address, if you go to the description, there's little website things you can click on. It'll go right there and you don't have to do anything. But that'd be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. If you want to buy stuff, to go ahead and buy stuff, and I'll give you a little prize. Anyway, so that's it. Thank you so much. Bye.